Welcome to the Plant-Centered and Thriving Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Kitchens. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Ashley, and I am thrilled that you are here today. I hope wherever you are listening, on whatever device you're listening, or if you're watching this on YouTube, that you are having a wonderful day. And thank you for being here. Today, I have a special episode for you. I'm talking to a fellow dietitian named Bridgette. And I'll tell you what really lights me up is talking to other dietitians who are doing things differently, who are going the extra mile to dig deep into what is going on in people's lives, trying to get at the root cause of your health concerns. And so, speaking to Bridgette, it was just really invigorating. It was a really fun conversation. She shares her story in talking about how she was on multiple medications. She was eating a plant forward diet and just was not feeling well. And I know some of you can relate to that. You're eating mostly plant-based or all plant-based, or you're trying to incorporate more plants and you're still not feeling well. Like something is not right and you haven't found those answers that you're looking for. Well, Bridgette offers sort of like a different approach, which I really appreciate. Bridgette goes into detail about how she ended up creating this supplement company in the pandemic, and with the understanding that there is no one size fits all when it comes to helping somebody heal. So she created this incredible quiz, and she has these different plant-based friendly supplements to help supplement your diet. And if you are struggling with gut issues or some of the issues that she mentions, she has the supplements to help, which is cool. So please join me in welcoming Bridgette to the show. Welcome to the show, Bridgette.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm so excited to talk with you as well. And I'm really excited for you to share just a lot of information with our lovely audience who I know are, and I feel like the same with me as well. I'm just always dying to learn more about gut health and just all that great stuff. So before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, which I cannot wait for, give us a little background on yourself and just give us a sneak peek on who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. So, I'm a functional medicine dietitian. I specialize in gut health and have moved on to create other incredible companies outside of just working with one on one clients and do some business coaching. And I love it. And how I got here is I was in school to become a dietitian. I was the healthiest eater, yet I was on 5 different medications and really extremely plant-based at the time. Although I will say, and maybe someone who's listening to this feels the same way, the more plants I ate, the worse I felt because they were so hard to digest. I was eating all the cruciferous vegetables and, raw salads, and my gut was a mess. I looked so bloated when I was an undergrad, and it didn't make sense to me. I was in school to be a dietitian. It's the healthiest eater and on 5 different meds. And this didn't make sense. And so when I went to grad school, I really delved into functional medicine and really wanted to heal my body from a root cause approach, not just going to the doctor and getting put on another medication, but actually like, why do I feel this way? And my conventional schooling wasn't teaching me that. So I had to go to school for another 6 years to learn about how to heal myself and then heal my gut, thyroid, migraines, so I could actually poop every day.
Yeah.
And then, have helped thousands of women since, like feel really incredible in their body and get to the root cause of their gut issues.
And I mean, I keep shaking my head because I can relate so heavily to what you're talking about. And I know a lot of dietitians can relate to this, or even like a lot of healthcare providers in general. Like there's just certain things that we don't learn. And here we are telling our patients and clients, oh, do this, do that. This is what I'm doing, but it's not working for me. So why would it work for them? And I'm still a mess. I'm still on all these medications. I'm not going to the bathroom every day. Like there's something missing here. So I guess maybe kind of explain, how did you start figuring things out? Like you were on these medications, you were eating, quote, healthy. And it's like, but something's not right.
Yeah. So it was actually in the middle of grad school, we had an opportunity to go intern at different private practices. And one of my favorite kind of place that I went to was a functional medicine dietitian. And I had no idea what this was before that. And so I went there and she was doing poop testing on people. She was doing hormone testing and vitamin and mineral testing. And I was like, what is this witchcraftery? And then I did a poop test on myself, and my gut was a mess. I had lots of bad bacteria. I wasn't digesting properly. I had yeast. I had H. pylori, all of these things. My immune system was off. I had a gluten sensitivity. And so I went on this journey to heal myself for the next year, and I was still in school. And I completely healed my gut, got off all these different medications. And I was like, okay, if this is how I healed myself, I have got to learn how to do this for others. Because as a dietitian, we have such power to change people's lives, not just through the foods we eat, but one thing that came up for me in my undergrad was one of my professors said, we don't need supplements. And I looked at what she ate for lunch, which was meat and potatoes and maybe some greens. And I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in school, we had to do those food journals, remember?
Yes. Yep.
And then we would insert them into a tracker, and we would look at all the, not even just, protein, fat, and carbs. We would look at the micronutrients and the vitamins. And I don't know if this came up for you, but again, as someone who was eating a really great diet, I was still deficient in a lot of things that I wasn't getting through my food. And so my journey went on with supplements, learning about what they can actually do for you. And my belief now is that supplements, and it kind of was my belief back then, that supplements actually aren't supplemental. And most people need to be on personalized supplements. And those are the things that heal. Because all day long, I could say, food is how we can heal, but that's not the truth. For most people, changing their diet will not fix their gut. I wish it was the case, but we need something more powerful. And so that's my passion for supplements and gut healing and really personalization too.
Yep. I agree. Food is very, very powerful and can be a very powerful form of quote medicine. But for people who do have a lot of underlying issues, and heck, you even look at deficiencies across the United States, the people are deficient in a wide range of vitamins and minerals. It's not just people who eat a particular diet. It doesn't really matter. And there has to be some form of supplementation for them, like you said, to heal, to boost those vitamins or minerals that they're deficient in. And I know there's a lot of wonderful research and wonderful doctors who talk about this too. Like, yes, food is powerful, but there's another missing piece as well. And that can definitely be supplementation.
Absolutely. And I was doing testing when I started my private practice about 6 years ago. I was doing vitamin and mineral testing, and every single person, I'm talking thousands of women and men, was deficient in magnesium.
Mm.
And this didn't make sense because magnesium's in things like chocolate and avocado and greens. And then delved more into the research of soil quality. These foods that we're eating now don't have as many nutrients as they did 50 years ago. So there's so many things that affect what we need. And I think, magnesium is a huge missing link for a lot of people. So
Yeah. Yep. And vitamin B12 is actually a great example of that with just our modern farming practices. Hundreds of years ago, sure, we could eat food from the ground and get our vitamin B12 from, a little bit of dirt that was on the fruits and vegetables. But nowadays, that's just not possible. So, especially plant-based people, we have to supplement. I shouldn't say we have to, but it's very, very important that we think about supplementing just because it's a very reliable source of vitamin B12. So I think that's a great example. But so Bridgette, can you take us back just a little bit to maybe explaining the difference between a functional medicine dietitian and maybe like just a generic dietitian that we think of who like works at a hospital or something like that?
Yeah. So we're really doing a lot more in-depth analysis of what's going on in the person. So for example, us dietitians, we're really research driven, right? Like evidence-based research really informs how we practice and how we're taught. But in functional medicine, we use that research of nutrition research and everything like that. But then the most important thing is the person in front of us. Not only validating how they feel, because that's how I felt going into conventional medicine, right? Going to a traditional doctor, or even, in some cases, my clients going to traditional dietitian, is validating how that person feels and trying to do the investigation for them. What's going on in their body? Because, what I was feeling in my body, having quote unquote IBS, migraines, thyroid issues, just being given other medications, that was very disempowering. I didn't feel that anyone was doing the investigation for me of the why. So really the difference in functional medicine is trying to figure out what's that root cause? What is that why? And we figure that out through doing in-depth testing, for gut health, specifically poop testing.
Yep. And then actually, when I switched over from a generic practitioner, a doctor practitioner, to a functional medicine doctor, that changed my life in that she did testing that I never knew existed, like poop testing, hormone testing, and, taking all the thyroid labs versus just like TSH and T3, like to get a really good look at what was going on. And I learned so much more about my body and what was going on with me that I couldn't quite articulate. It's just like, something's wrong, but it's maybe
Yes.
hard to convey that without really, like you say, digging deep into like what is actually going on in the body.
Yes. Oh, it's really powerful stuff. And that's where it becomes life-changing. And,
Mhm.
Us as dietitians have the power to change people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of gaps, and we've kind of touched on it, what kind of gaps were you seeing or did you see with your patients, your clients, in your own care with maybe just the general healthcare system? And how did you sort of, come into becoming more of a functional medicine dietitian to try and bridge some of those gaps maybe you wish you would have had when you were seeking care in undergrad?
Yeah, I really think the missing link for me was testing and then personalized supplements. Medications have side effects and they also don't fix the underlying issue. You know what I mean? So let's use like a headache, for example, or for me, it was a migraine. Instead of taking ibuprofen to like literally just make it go away, what I felt was missing in my care and a lot of my clients' care is why is that headache there in the first place? And, for me, it was a severe gluten allergy sensitivity. But it was the investigation piece. And a lot of doctors and traditional dietitians don't have the time to investigate and don't have the tools and the knowledge. I had to go to school for another 6 years, after my undergrad to get all of this education in biology and microbiology and biochemistry and all of these things to be able to do this. So most dietitians and doctors just don't have those tools.
Yeah. 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 They're limited in time. They're limited in resources, or maybe they don't go the extra mile or 6 years like you did to just
Yeah.
learn and educate themselves. Absolutely. So how did this kind of kickstart the business that you have now?
Yeah. So we were just talking before we started recording this podcast. You and I started our online practices around the same time. So I've been in private practice since I've been a dietitian and finally took it virtually after the pandemic. I know you were right before, I
Yep.
was right after. So who is crazier? Who knows?
Yeah, right.
So it's been a wild ride. And so I started my practice working one-on-one with clients virtually. And, we can do testing all across the United States. So that was incredible. Nothing really had to change. And I was helping hundreds of women. And I asked myself last summer if this was the impact I wanted to make in the world, because I was changing so many women's lives, but I wanted to be changing millions of lives. And I saw a real problem in the gut health supplement space that I knew I could fix, which was a lack of personalization. There are a lot of supplement companies that are out there who their founders have probably never worked with clients. And actually, I could argue that none of the supplement companies out there have dietitians or doctors that have started it that have worked with clients for years and years and actually know what works. And so I saw that gap. I had access to incredible high quality supplements, and I created a quiz and I launched Gut Personal, which is my supplement company, last November. And since then, we've changed thousands of lives, but I'm looking to change millions, which is why I started this company.
And I just think that is so incredible. And I think for you listening to, it's so invigorating for someone like myself to talk to other dietitians who are just doing something that isn't mainstream, that's truly advocating for people's lives and their better well-being, not only working with them one-on-one, but if you can take it globally and work with people across the world through supplements or supplementation, I just think that has such power, which is really exciting to hear.
Thank you for that. And that's really our goal is like empowerment. It's not just take these supplements to fix this issue. It's our message is really you deserve to feel amazing. And so whether it's you feel bloated all the time or you're not pooping every day, or what I'm drinking right now is our greens. Like you need more diversity and just to feel great, there are things out there and we can pair you with them that are going to just elevate your life.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So how can you create personalized supplements for people? I'm curious. And I know the
Yeah.
person listening is like, well, how can it be sort of tailored to me, maybe my needs?
Yes. So I'll take you back a little bit. The job that I had right before the pandemic was not only my private practice and seeing women one on one in that, but I was working in a retail holistic pharmacy and supplement store. So, what I got really good at is people walking into the door, them telling me their symptoms, me thinking through their symptoms from a functional medicine approach. For example, let's use constipation. Someone would come in and say, I'm constipated. Okay, maybe when you go into a traditional pharmacy doctor or something, they'll just give you a medication to just a laxative.
Yep.
But I'm thinking through, okay, what is the root cause to their constipation? So, what I'm going to ask them is, of course, if they're drinking enough water and doing and having enough fiber, but those things are usually like a yes. That's not usually the root cause, especially for the person who's listening to this. If they're eating really healthy and really into wellness, they're probably doing those things. Okay, so that's not it. So, another root cause of constipation is magnesium deficiency. Okay, so I'm going to ask them about their stress levels because those create magnesium deficiency in the body. And I'm going to ask them how they sleep. These questions allow me to say, okay, are they magnesium deficient and how much magnesium might they need? Thinking through my years and years of experience of working with clients and seeing test results. So they need magnesium. And then if they're stressed and they feel like food is sitting in their stomach, they need motility support. So they actually need support of moving through the food and the poop literally through their intestines. So, all of that to illustrate, I've asked a series of 6 questions to someone. I've now paired them with 2 supplements that address their root cause. And so, how we're different is we use our quiz to ask 18 questions that are going to use a functional medicine root cause approach to pair them with 2 to 4 supplements that are really going to change their life.
Wow. So, I mean, in 18 questions, that's a lot. So you're really digging deep into what's going on.
Yeah, they're really, I mean, they're quite targeted. So, it's pretty quick. I think our test takes 5 minutes, but it is, we have, and this is so funny because we've thought about doing a shorter quiz and we do have that in some senses, but I really want to know quite a bit about people. And so even if someone takes our quiz, I'm in the DMs on Gut Personal all day long, further personalizing them to someone because it's an art. We have science and art, put them together. And that's what really creates this personalization and this approach that we use.
Yeah. And I'm sure if someone's struggling, they're going to want to answer those questions to figure out for their own self, like what the heck is going on. And Bridget, I can relate pretty heavily to the constipation piece because that's what I struggled with growing up for 20 plus years. And it was the same thing. I was just given laxatives or stool softeners over and over and over again to help. But there was no, okay, well, what the heck is actually going on? Or what are you putting into your body? Or what are you not getting
Mm-hmm.
that are causing these issues where you're going to the bathroom once a week? And so
Mm-hmm.
it took me changing my diet, working with a functional medicine doctor to really, again, get at the root cause with what was going on. And obviously that involves supplementation. And I also took magnesium for quite some time as well to help things because even though I wasn't deficient, I was on the lower end,
Yeah.
and so even just a little bump up in that number made a huge difference for me.
Oh, I love that so much. And, speaking to like the laxatives piece, if we look at the ingredients, which, we look at ingredients of our food, but we're not looking at like what medications are versus supplements. So, I was taking Miralax, maybe that's the one that you're taking to that
Oh, yeah.
still suffer. Yeah, everyone takes that one. It is like so synthetic and terrible, but it's a very natural thing to have like things sitting in your gut, right?
Yeah.
Like, so magnesium does help, but our product, it's called the mover that we use for motility support. So, literally, food moving through, it's ginger and artichoke.
Wow.
That's it. And it's just moving things along very gently. It's very natural. And so, we're taking these things and using, traditional, maybe what our ancestors used, then using research and putting it into a supplement, which a supplement is just so easy for someone to add into their routine, especially when it's ultra natural and their body will really love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I know I've had just my own success stories and clients as well with supplementing their plant-based diet or whatever it is to really help, whether it's get things moving or just help them feel better in general for something that they've been really struggling with.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so we can include this or not, but what kind of success stories have you heard from clients, or is there anything in particular that you want to touch on there?
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to stay on the constipation front.
Great.
So,
I love talking about I mean, dietitians love it anyway, so
I know, because,
yeah.
okay, if you're listening to this and you're not pooping well, let me just tell you how much of a joy it is to go to the bathroom every morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so like everyone deserves that. I had this client who almost had her bowel removed, almost literally took out her intestines because she wasn't going to the bathroom. We did a test. 2 months later, she was going to the bathroom every single day
What the heck?
with basically what's in our constipation bundle: pro motility support with the mover and high dose magnesium. Was going to the bathroom every single day. So that's the power of, I know you and I just get
It's
stunned by this. So, and I think I'm our biggest success story, truly. Like, going from 5 medications, being on an ultra plant based diet, feeling really crappy, and then using personalized supplements so that I could tolerate beans and cruciferous vegetables and all of these things. And that's my biggest success is almost myself, because
yeah.
I didn't think it was possible. No doctor thought it was possible. Um, and I was going to specialists, all over the world. I was at the number one migraine center. And,
Wow.
some of it was stress too.
Yeah.
And so that's something they didn't talk about as well. So, I do meditation for that. And that's something that really, as a functional medicine dietitian, I'm not just prescribing supplements. And I think that is where functional medicine can go wrong, is that it looks like conventional medicine, right? Where you have a pill for every ill. But that's not the case, with really great functional medicine dietitians, is like that we are looking at the whole approach and the whole body and the whole system, because it matters.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. How can people, if they're curious to get started, obviously take your quiz, and we'll include all this information in the show notes for you listening if you're curious to learn more. But where can someone, if they're kind of curious to start, what would
Mm-hmm.
be sort of the best place for them to do that?
The quiz is incredible, or what we have are bundles with different phases. So there's different, one way I think about gut healing is through different phases. So the first phase is really, we've got to fix the gut. And then the second phase is we have to rebalance. The third phase is we have to optimize. Most people start with phase one, which is really a product called the booster. It's a very specific form of one strain of a probiotic called Saccharomyces boulardii. It improves the immune system. Something we haven't talked a lot about, but is so important in gut healing is that 70% of our immune system is in the gut. So it's so wild.
Yeah.
So we know through testing how the immune system is doing. When we do poop testing at my other company, the Gut Fix, we actually look at that level, like how is the immune system doing? If the immune system is really low, we know that there's usually bad bacteria, bad yeast, or food sensitivities going on because that's what lowers the immune system. The immune system is tired or stress levels.
Yeah.
And so the booster really boosts the immune system. It allows the gut to really fight bad bacteria. And then magnesium, we have in almost every single protocol because really everyone needs to be on it. We talked a lot about poop this episode, but really like anxiety can be magnesium deficiency, and poor sleep or insomnia is magnesium deficiency. So I recommend magnesium to everyone. And, you can start with 1 capsule, low dose. It's life-changing. And so that's the Gut Fix bundle is really a place to start. That's our phase 1. If you're having gut issues, if you're having a lot of bloating or skin issues, you can start with our balanced gut bundle. And then if you're just like, hey, I think gut health is really important. I know it's the center of all health. It's the center of, yes, gut symptoms, but also mental health. Like I was just talking about skin issues. All of those are related to the gut. Then we have our daily essentials bundle, which is magnesium and a different type of probiotic called the Go-To, which is just really well-rounded. Something else we have not talked about, which I would love to just touch on, is variety in your diet. Eating a plant-centered diet. Oh my gosh, I just used your
yes.
I love that. Eating a plant-centered diet is literally one of the best things that you can do. And then there are going to be maybe 2 different types of people who are listening to this. One person is going to be trying to eat a plant-centered diet and feeling crappy because they have gut issues. So what you need to do is not push through it, is heal your gut. So go take our quiz if you're trying to eat more plants and you feel crappier. And then someone else is going to be like, I feel freaking incredible when I eat plant-centered. What I would say to them in how to improve their gut health is to be making sure there's variety. It's very typical when I was working with clients, and I don't know if you see this as well, that we eat the same fruits and vegetables week to week.
Yeah.
And we know through research, it's not only the quantity of fruits and vegetables and plants that you're eating, but it's the variety. So I really preach with clients, when I was working a lot with clients, to be really changing up the variety. So we'd change up, instead of broccoli, can you do broccolini, which actually is different.
It is.
Yeah. And instead of, having regular cauliflower, eating a purple cauliflower or a purple potato. So all of those changes really matter. But we also at Gut Personal came out with a greens powder that has reds in it as well, which is just really great. If you're going on vacation or you just want to add more variety, it has things that we don't typically eat, like spirulina and chlorella. So it's not a replacement. I don't think greens powders are a replacement at all for eating fruits and vegetables. However, they can just be an incredible, especially when they're organic, which ours are, incredible, really valuable source of vitamins and minerals in variety. So we have 16 different types in ours, which is just really awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've heard I know people who take greens powders, and I know that you take yours.
Yeah, I'm drinking it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what you said. Yeah. I
Mhm.
know people who say they really, really do feel the difference, and like you said, it's not replacing the amount of greens that you're eating during the day, but it can be a great supplement to what you're already doing just to give you that extra boost. Or we all know when we go on vacation, it's nice when we don't have access to a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables to have something like that to supplement our fun time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, exactly.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned broccoli and broccolini because I don't really care for broccoli, but broccolini, there's just something about it that I love. So I tend to go towards more broccolini than broccoli, but I love that you mentioned that because I just think it's so funny.
I love that. So my fiance is the same way. He loves, and he's actually a trained chef, and he loves broccolini. I love both. But my qualm, and I don't know if you feel this way, is you go to the grocery store, it's like 3 times the price.
Yes.
I'm like, babe, the organic broccoli is $1.99 and the broccolini is like $5.99.
Yep. I know. It's a splurge for sure.
Gosh darn it. And then we each eat a bunch. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, right.
So then you're like, all right, I'm $12 out for broccolini.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I know.
I love it.
So I'm curious too, for someone who's listening to this and they're like, well, I don't work with a functional medicine dietitian or a functional medicine doctor. Is there a way that they could advocate for themselves or maybe get some of this testing done that you're talking about? That because there is sort of that gap of like, yeah, I want to get these tests done, but who do I go to or where do I find someone that could do it for me?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to be real frank here. Advocating for yourself is going to take a lot of effort. And who knows if you're working with a doctor who is willing to listen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, your health is the most important thing that you have. If you don't have your health, you have nothing, truly. So, find people who will listen. You know, there is a wealth of incredible functional medicine dietitians and doctors out there. Find someone you resonate with and invest. Because yes, it might be a few $1,000s. That's going to be the best money you'll ever spend. Don't renovate your bathroom right now. You know what I mean? Like I've heard of people that say, you know, I can't invest because I'm renovating my kitchen or my bathroom or we're going on vacation. I get those things and that they're important too. But focus on your health, invest in your health, and it's going to be the best investment you ever make. So if you have something going on and you want a recommendation of someone functional medicine, I'm happy to, if someone wants to DM me, I can help. You can do all the advocating you want for yourself at a conventional doctor, but sometimes it's like pushing a boulder up a hill.
Yeah.
Sending anyone love who's going through that, but take the faster road with this and find someone who's actually, you know, willing to listen and really cares about you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that can be, and I'm sure some people listening here can relate to that pretty heavily, that they feel like they're beating their head against the wall and trying to get answers. And it's really, really challenging. And I'm sure there's been a lot of tears shed and it's hard. It's a tough road, but I like that you said, just seeking out someone who is going to actually listen and dig deep into the root cause of what's going on.
Yeah. And let's be honest too, doctors don't even have nutrition education. So it's not a dig to them. They just don't have the tools many times. They weren't taught how to think about things in a different way. So yeah, it's you know, medical and nutrition education needs to get better.
Yeah, it does. Yep, I agree. Okay, Bridgette, I know we have a discount code for listeners if they're curious to try some of your products. So tell us that, and then also where people can connect with you and all that great stuff.
Yeah. So to go take our quiz, go to gutpersonal.com/plant-centered. When you go to that website link, it will automatically put the plant-centered code in. If you don't see it come up, just when you go to checkout, type in plant-centered for 10% off. Really, really important thing with us is that we have 100% satisfaction. We care that what we've paired you with works. So if it doesn't work, you DM us, you can email us. We are going to make sure you are so happy with the products that you get. So we don't refund people often because typically it works.
Yeah.
But we are more than happy to, and we want to make sure you feel really good. And then we're gut.personal on Instagram if you want to follow me and just connect. I'm at Well by Bridgette before I get married in 3 weeks and change my Instagram name.
I know that's coming up quick.
It's so quick. I'm pumped.
Oh my goodness. Well, and we've included all those links in the show notes just for you so that you can quickly just click below and go to the website and explore and all that great stuff and kind of then take the quiz too and just figure out what's going on. So Bridgette, thank you so much for coming on and sharing more about yourself and the company and all the lovely stuff that you do.
Thanks so much.
All right, we will catch you next time. Until next time, keep thriving.